Hi, I'm Joyce, the Energy Lady. I'm going to talk today about the savior complex. I don't know if you even know what that means, or you might get it just by the name of it. But what I want to share with you is this is actually a chapter in one of my books. In my book, like I'm writing multiples. Anyway, so this chapter is about people who want to save people. People who are trying to save others from their pain, from their discomfort, from their unhappiness. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. How do you know what people want? This is a little harsh, but look at what they're getting. Some part of their being wants actually what they're getting. And that sounds terrible, but they may not even be aware of it, but that's what they're looking for. So if you're trying to save them from that, it's not going to matter because they're right where they want to be, because that's where they need to be. So I had an experience. I've been in the behavioral health field for 43 years. So at one time I was a therapist and worked in a shelter for abused women. And in that shelter, we would get women who'd come in the middle of the night. The next morning, I would get their case stories. And there was a woman who was in her 70s who had been in an abusive marriage for like 50 years. And she had bruises and a broken arm, a broken rib. And so, she worked with us in group therapy and individual therapy for a good month or 6 weeks. And then I was able to find her a home where she could help an elderly gentleman. So she had a place to live. She had food. She had a paycheck. And I was thinking, this is the greatest thing in the world for this woman. She's finally going to get out of that abusive relationship. But within about a month and a half, she moved back home with her husband and was right back in the thick of it. Now, I thought I was going to save her from that terrible marriage. Guess what? It wasn't my job. And it wasn't actually what she was looking for. So she went back. Did he abuse her again? Yes. So you have to know that if you're trying to save people, do they really want to be saved? Do they really want to be out of the awful, terrible situations that they're in? Or does it just seem awful and terrible to you, so you want to get them out of it? It's not your job. Fire yourself. Fire yourself from trying to be the savior. Quit that job. Resign from that job because it's not yours. I am a believer. I'm a believer in God and Christ, and I believe that they are the ones that can save us, that we as humans cannot save other humans, and it's not actually our responsibility to do so. I love working with clients. I love helping them. I love watching them heal, but they do their healing and they do the work. I simply am a facilitator in helping them get there. And so for any of you who think it's your job to save other people, I really am going to say to yourself these words out loud. I fire myself from trying to be the savior. I resign from trying to be a savior. I quit the job of being a savior. And I turn it over to the real savior or divine source or the universe, whoever you want to turn it over to, because it's not your job. Now, if this is helpful for you, you probably have other aspects of you who like to people please and like to make sure people like you and make sure you're doing things that they like. And if that's the case, then that makes you a perfect candidate to be a savior for somebody. Because what do you get? You get accolades, you get acknowledgement. People like you more if you've tried to save them. Now, you may also have the other end of it, where you might be trying to save somebody and they just get mad at you and frustrated and push you away. So there's a lot of different modality of things that can happen when you try saving people. So just remember that it's not your job. It never was. It never is. It's not your job to go saving people. Let them have their experience. You can help facilitate them in any kind of healing work you want, but let people have their pain so they can learn from that pain. Now, if this poses questions for you, then call me, or I guess I should say book a call with me on my website on a free consultation and let's talk. Okay?